How does life after the best quarterback in the nation goes and leaves your team for the NFL? We will find out with San Jose State year 6, where we had to make a decision at the quarterback spot. And after thinking it over, we had, a low ceiling junior, a low ceiling sophomore, and then a higher ceiling but lower floor freshman transfer coming in. And ultimately, I did decide to go with Trent Toppins, who does provide us a little bit more continuity at the quarterback position for the future and does provide us some ceiling, because I can't guarantee that we'll find ourselves a quarterback even half as good as Brett Scaccia. So I think for the future of this team, maybe it's a short-term hit, but I think if we are unable to find a long-term quarterback, it will be a long-term help for us to just invest in the quarterback that has the most to offer us in the long term. So the rest of the team is pretty good. We have a lot to like when it comes to a well-rounded roster with not a lot of weaknesses. We have a pretty viable player at just about every spot, and I think we've done a good job building up this team. The schedule's not going to be easy. We are moving into the Pac-12. I showed it at the off-season of last video, where we reformed a portion of the Pac-12 and then took the best of the Mountain West and added it on top. So it's going to be a tougher schedule, and I didn't make the non-conference schedule easy either. We're taking on 2 top 20 teams in the nation. And when it comes to recruiting, last video, when it came to the step up that we could get in recruiting, I allowed myself to get players that we are top 5 on the interest of in the state of California. Now that we made a playoff, have a first-round quarterback, and we're a bit more in the national spotlight, now I have upped it to we can go after any 4-star that is interested in us and in our pipeline. So we had some options. We had a lot more options than we did previously. The goal last year was to get, like maybe 2 of them, and we were able to accomplish that goal. Now the goal this year, I'd like 3, 4, maybe 5 4-stars. I think that that's possible with the amount of people that we have on the board, but when we're in the state of California and our pipelines are California, Washington, Oregon, it's not gonna be easy, considering you got USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington as teams that are just better than us, and you got Stanford, who could steal some players. Teams like Cal, Washington State, Oregon State. It's not going to be an easy battle going for some of these 4-stars, and we're hoping that, like I said, we could snag a couple of them. And the interesting part is we do have a 4-star quarterback interested in us, which, you got to see him get scouted. Damian Wooden is the best player on the board that we have to be excited about. He is, a roughly top 50 player in the nation, 4-star gem. So, he's maybe like a 5-star caliber player who's rated at a 4-star, and then the rest of these guys, we have a couple of top 100s that we're kind of in the running for, but mostly a couple of decent 4-stars, and then the rest will be filled out by 3-stars. I would be shocked if we got to all of these guys, even though thankfully for us we do have a lot more points to be excited about. But as we get through that week 0 recruiting and week 1 recruiting stages, we, like I said, put up a tough schedule on the board, taking on TCU and Rutgers, who are top 25 teams. We're going to be starting it up a little bit easier with Ohio and Bowling Green, because we want to see what Trent Toppins has to offer us and maybe get him a little tune-up, maybe get him prepared for what he is going to be facing. We're not expecting Brett Scaccia levels of production with, well over 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns and all this other stuff, but this team originally, when I got to taking the job, was supposed to be more so of a team that ran the football. I have a lot of under center stuff, a lot of pro-style offensive philosophies here, and I think there's a good chance we get back to that. Trent Toppins can run a little bit. We have a couple of design plays, but I think getting to where we just run the football more, where we have a couple of nice backs, even though Caruthers is the starter, but he's undersized. I don't know how much of a handle he's going to be on when it comes to getting like 20 carries a game, but we'll see. Maybe he could surprise us. And then Ricardo Southward coming off in a 1,000-yard season will be our go-to guy at receiver. Bradley Joy getting an opportunity to finally start, and the offensive line's pretty good. Secondary, I'm pretty excited for. I think we have some really nice players. Linebackers, we have Mangum, who's like an 89 overall now, who he's going to be in the running to be a mid-round draft pick potentially. So good team. I think the expectation, I don't think, is as many wins as last year, but I do think we can come out here and potentially win double-digit games. But we are starting at our season opener at home against Ohio. We come in ranked number 18 in the country, so in prime position to go and make maybe a potential playoff run as an interception is thrown by Trent Toppins on the second play that we watched. Ohio got a big strike over the middle. They are down by 14, 8 minutes to play from the 36-yard line, as not a great first impression for Toppins in this defense, allowing a big play all the way to the 2-yard line, gain of 34, as they're going to scramble into the end zone, and Ohio cuts it to a one-score game. You can't be struggling against Ohio in week 1 of the year, as Toppins gets the first down completion. He's got 3 touchdowns on the day, but the interceptions not helping us out right now, as they'll throw underneath on 3rd down. It's going to set up 4th and inches. They don't go for it. Ohio's got the football with a chance, as that was brutal right there. He couldn't get over the down defender on the draw play. It's not going to get them a first down. It's 4th and inches on the other side. They punted as well. They definitely could have went for that, as Toppins, I don't know what you're doing there. That's not how you run a play action rollout. 2nd and 17 after the sack, as they check it down. There's Caruthers on the catch and a broken tackle, and he is going to be a check down specialist. 11 yards on the gain. 3rd down and 6. Leads to 4th and 1. We don't go for it. So that's 2 instances, 4th and 1, 4th and inches, where we just barely can't keep the drive going, but the defense gets a 3 and out. Of course, they're going to go for it this time around with under 2 minutes to play, as they throw for a wide open man. First down, and a defender misses the tackle. He just had an awful angle there, and that leads to a big gain, as now Ohio, with the first down, grab a gain of 4 to the 41-yard line, as they got about 60 seconds to play. Clean pocket outside. Defender tried to jump it, and he missed it. That's the second time a defender's just taken a bad angle, as now at the 27-yard line, he's gonna get sacked, and that was huge for this defense to set up 3rd down and 17, as Ohio is gonna get sacked again. 4th and 29 with 30 seconds to go, taking the shot deep. It's incomplete, and that is going to be a San Jose State victory in the 4th quarter. It was looking a little bit rough, as they didn't score at all, but I mean, the defense did what they needed to at the end. Toppin had that bad interception, and overall his game looked pretty good. I mean, 63 yards on the ground, great rushing production, and had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Though when we watched him, didn't look clean, but first game as a starter, transfer into a new school, we can give him a bit of leeway there. It's going to be, why we scheduled a team like Ohio to start the season. We wanted to see if he could kind of ease his way into the structure of this offense. I don't want to read too much into a week 1 game against a much worse opponent, but the pass rush looked really nice. And I mean, Toppins, if he can provide us at least that level of floor in the rushing game, 63 yards and 7 carries, that's really good. Though we will put him to the test when the competition takes a step up, especially within our conference. I don't know if conference championship is in the sights. It's a hope, but with this team, it is objectively a worse team than last year. Even if the rest of the roster is exactly the same, the quarterback being that much worse, it's what, 21 overalls worse. It's just a lot to try to overcome. It's definitely going to mean somebody on the offensive side of the football is going to need to step up a little bit. You could see on the board there, got 3 quarterbacks we're looking at. We got the 4-star, of course, who is a gem, which is really exciting. But again, you could kind of see once Oregon, a team like them, decides, you know what, we might want this 4-star prospect. It's hard for us to compete. So, one of our top players, the 99th ranked player in the nation at tight end, Oregon just says, yeah, we might want you, and it's not really much we can do about it. And Oregon's going to be the team that we compete with the most for these players. So in our next game, we're in a bit of trouble. We're number 16 in the country, but taking on Bowling Green, who won their opener, we're down 27-20, and it is looking a little rough right now. Could it be upset alert time as Bowling Green will throw off the sidelines for a first down, and a chance to get up the field on third down does not go our way, as that will pop pass to the edge. First down at the 12-yard line, and if they go up by 2 scores, we're in serious trouble. And if we put forth that effort against Bowling Green on defense, allowing them to drop 41, how are we going to fare if we face Rutgers and TCU later on in the season, who both started the year in the top 15? That needs to clean up fast. And Trent Toppins played a fine game there. I mean, 370 yards and 4 touchdowns should be good enough to get a victory. That's on the defense. As I was gonna say, because I brought up Rutgers, how we play them, well, maybe Bowling Green's just a way better team than we thought, because I seen Rutgers fall out the top 25 after starting top 10 that quickly, and I was like, well, what happened? They lost to Bowling Green. They got smacked by Bowling Green. So Bowling Green comes out here, smacks around a top 10 Rutgers team, and then beats us. So maybe Bowling Green's a much better team than I thought, as Rutgers, maybe it's just they're not as good of a team. But both things could be true, and I'm going to hope that that was just a situation where Bowling Green's just a really good team, and we just ran into the wrong team at the wrong time. But man, that's a brutal loss. That's one of the more unexpected losses that we've had in this series. As you know, I scheduled, like I said, I was talking about Ohio and Bowling Green being like, okay, maybe a bit more of a tune-up game, taking on smaller conference, smaller schools. Let's see if Trent Toppins can ease his way into things, and you know, the rest of the team could stay the course there. I would have expected if we were to lose one of these games, it's because Toppins made a mistake because he's still inexperienced at the quarterback position. But no, it was just the defense. I hope that's not an issue for us. And it doesn't get any better for us because we do have to take on TCU up next, and that game's going to be on the road against a really quality opponent. TCU, they did lose one of their first 2 games, but they're still number 19 in the country and a really talented squad, as they're going to have the football down by 7, so the defense played a little bit better right now. Only 14 points allowed, but right as I say something, how about a 38-yard touchdown to tie it up? And in the rain, TCU not looking to go down to another opponent. That would be 2 of their first 3 that they would lose. They probably get knocked out of the top 25. Caruthers for the first down game there as we go end around. Bradley Joy, he gets stopped for a loss of 2. 2nd and 12, and it's going to be a read option. Toppins, as I like to see them incorporating some read options there with some of the running success he has shown on 3rd down. There you go, Ricardo Southworth for the first down. And now to the 49-yard line. Quick pass to the outside, and the tight end is not going to go very far there. 3rd down and 1. Play action as he'll throw the other way. That's going to be broken up and incomplete. 4th down and 1. I like the call. Going for it as you power it ahead with the little 5'8" running back. And now on 1st down and 10, you lose 2 yards there. 3rd down and 12 after an incomplete pass as he gets hit as he's throwing incomplete. And while you went for it on 4th and 1, can't go for it on 4th and 12. Got to trust the defense, and that is a great play as now 2nd down and 12 underneath on the drag. 2 men there, and he'll get a short gain of 4. 3rd down and 8. Draw play, and the defense gets him 1 yard shy. We'll get 4.5 minutes to try to break this tie as we got a wide open man underneath. Catch and run. He breaks 2 tackles and gets 20 yards on the play. 1st and 10, right up the middle. There goes Caruthers, and he's got another first down. Caruthers running it pretty well right now. Give it to him again, and he's fighting for a little guy. He's a bit of a fighter. 3rd down and inches, and let's stay with the run game. No play action. I was hoping to stay with the run game, and well, Toppins is going to make sure that that happens, and he gets 7 yards on the scramble. That's been his best attribute, it looks like, a 2nd down. Look at the cut from Caruthers, and that's a great cut, great vision there to get the 1st down, as that is the type of play you want to see from a starting running back. 1.5 minutes to go, making TCU use these timeouts, and it's going to be 3rd down and 4 from the 7. Can you get the 1st down? Not quite. Still, though, it will be a 22-yard field goal as the kick is no good. Are you kidding me? A 22-yard field goal for the win, potentially, and he missed it, and now TCU has a minute to play in a tie game. They have no timeouts, but they got time, and they got a 1st down on a 13-yard gain, and then they're going to go on the outside, and a diving swat is missed, and he gets another 1st down. 37 seconds to play from the 44, and now on the drag, broken tackle, he gets out of bounds. 35-yard line, run it. 1st down, and they're in field goal range, and this is ridiculous right now as a handoff up the middle is going to result in them running out this clock and kicking a field goal. It'll be a bit longer than 22. How about 42 yards for the win? And TCU walks it off in ridiculously just frustrating fashion. I mean, this was a very evenly matched game between these 2 teams. We looked every bit the equal of TCU, showing that, hey, maybe we could have got back in that top 25 ranking. Toppins, though, had a bad game. There's no mistaking that one. I mean, he 11 for 30 is rough, but even still, that wouldn't have mattered if we just hit a 22-yard field goal. And I know TCU went and tied the game anyway if they would have had hit that field goal, and we would have had to probably go to overtime. But still, we would have had a chance. And missing a 22-yard field goal, like, that is ridiculous. And, I mean, now we're 1-2. I didn't expect to be 1-2 at this point. I was expecting 2-1. If you would have told me we would have lost TCU by 3, I wouldn't have been mad at that. But, you know, don't tell me that after we lose to Bowling Green by allowing 41 points. So now at 1-2, it's looking like playoffs might be a bit off the table. There's still a chance. Obviously, we started so high in the season, and I guess we lost to 2 quality opponents. Bowling Green seems to be a pretty quality opponent. So there's still hope for us, especially if, you know, Rutgers can right the ship and then we go and beat them and then we get through our conference schedule. But, I mean, that's brutal. I was hoping, I said I still think we can win double-digit games. Well, if we want to win double-digit games in the regular season, we got to win the rest of the games we got. So let's get into some conference play. Starting off the new era of this Pac-12 conference against Arizona, and things are looking a little bit better right now. 24-10 to start the fourth quarter. Arizona at 2-1, us at 1-2. Looking for that second win of the season. That ball's thrown deep. That's caught out of bounds. Would have been a touchdown if it was a better throw, as Arizona throws a strike the other way, and that's a leaping grab that gets knocked out, and there's going to be the offense taking over. Look at Caruthers, big run, and that's going to be a gain on 19, and every time we have seen him so far this season, he's coming out here with great vision, reading his blocks, and that's a 12-yard carry for Caruthers. Just stay with them, honestly. I would not mind just handing him the football, but that's a nice throw to Bradley Joy for the first down. 31-yard line. As he's going to tuck, he's going to run it. Toppins gets 4, sets up 3rd down and 5 as they hand it off. And that one maybe was not as well blocked, but we'll kick a field goal here, and it will be, this time, good. A lot longer than 22 yards. Would have liked for him to make it in the last game, but still will take the 17-point lead. 27-10 is your score. 5 minutes to play, and unless Arizona could do something here, it's looking like we're going to be getting our second win of the season and opening Pac-12 play with a victory as they go in an end around, and that's questionable ball carrier vision to try to cut that one back inside, but 2nd down and 13. They got the first down, so it ends up not mattering with a 15-yard gain, and now after a false start, 1st and 15 will turn into 2nd and 15, and now 3rd and 15 after an incompletion as they'll step up, throw the football deep. That's going to be caught for a touchdown, and that was in contested coverage. He just couldn't make a play on the football. Onside kick with 3 to go is going to be scooped up by us, so we'll maintain a 10-point lead. Arizona still has all their timeouts, but a couple of first downs here can end it. 3rd down and 6 will be the situation, though, as we go with a little end around of our own. I don't know about that one. Southward does not get it. Timeouts used, and Arizona is going to get the football with 2 timeouts, a minute and a half roughly to go, and down by 10. So still very unlikely, but not impossible as they get it to midfield roughly with 1st down and 10 as they will step up and try to run and get sacked, as that's going to be 2nd and 12. He's looking, he's loaded up, throwing it deep one more time. That's going to be a flag, and that is going to be pass interference. So some questionable coverage from our defense early on in the season. I mean, can't be doing that. Pass interference got caught on the previous drive, and man, they're going to get it all the way to 1st and goal. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that we had a double-digit point lead, I'd be a lot more worried. They get the touchdown. They still need the onside kick, and that's going to be scooped up by us, but that one, a little bit closer than it should have been, I feel like. 27-24 is your final, but Arizona made it close at the end by attacking the secondary, and I really just didn't expect it to be that much of a weakness right now, and I hope they can right the ship, but Trent Toppins had a bit better of a game, actually completed over 50% of his passes and did turn the football over, so maybe he's settling in a little bit. Caruthers looked like he had a pretty nice game, 4 yards a carry. Leo getting some carries there, 5 for 62, so that's nice to see. Southward, how about 138 yards on just 4 catches, a 70-yard touchdown throughout this game, and the defense was a little questionable in that 4th quarter, but the overall product that they put out throughout the entirety of the game, it helped us in the first 3 quarters for them to not allow that many points to begin with, so that when they did struggle in the 4th quarter, it didn't hurt us as much as it could have. Getting that look back at recruiting, where we're at the point in time of the season already where, you know, top 5s are going to be formed, visits are going to be in line to be scheduled, and we're kind of seeing where we're going to lie when it comes to some of these prospects, and if we have a real chance at them, because, you know, when it comes to these higher tier prospects, they will tend to make their decisions a little bit quicker, and, you know, once you get past, like, the first half of the season, if certain teams are, you know, out of the race on them, you know, Oregon specifically, USC, you know, teams like that, then I think it comes down to a point where we have a real chance to get them, like, for example, some of these guys we're in the lead or we're in the mix for, but it's not against teams that are impossible to overcome. And with our prestige little by little getting better each and every single season, it becomes a little bit more easy to make those moves and make those opportunities to be open for us to get those prospects. I mean, we got like Tennessee fighting for us on one of them. Stanford, we have to overcome them. But like for one of those guys, you seen like Georgia State there. And we are into our next game, game 5 of the season, and it's against a very familiar opponent, a team we have faced off against a number of times. How about Colorado State, who once again is ranked on the season? They're number 16 in the country at 2-1, and they have moved to the Pac-12 with us, as we are doing a great job on defense so far in the first 3 quarters. Just 9 points on the board as they'll throw on the run on 3rd down and 4, incomplete. 4th down and 4, could have kicked the field goal there, but they want the touchdown. They haven't gotten one all day, and they're going to be a little bit closer. 1st down and 10 from the 13 after the conversion. Running, and they'll get 3 to the 9-yard line, and they'll hand it off again. He's got a bit more of a lane. That's going to be 5 yards to the 5-yard line as they'll throw on 3rd and 2. He'll throw on the run. That should have been picked, but at least we get the incomplete pass. 4th down and 2, and they'll run it in for a touchdown, and that costly dropped interception's going to hurt a lot as they do not get the 2-point conversion. It looked like he should have got it, but he couldn't get a foot in. We're down by 1, and Toppins, he just did not know how to handle that pressure. Wow, he just froze as though it's 3rd and 18, and he's getting sacked again, as that was a rough play to watch. I mean, when you get a quarterback who like just freezes in the face of pressure like that, man, I mean, that's just not something you want to see ever happen again. 3rd down and 12, though. Defense can get off the field here, and they will, forcing the throwaway. 3 minutes to go. Just need 3 points. Just need 2 points even. But, I mean, from the offense, we're going to need a field goal try at least, as we'll go at the end around. And this time it works out for a 1st down. Southward's going to get 5 on it. 2:40 to play. Blitz sent in underneath. Open man. Bradley Joy turns it upfield. And Bradley Joy's got room to run. And he's going to go all the way. Touchdown. 61 yards. He got Bradley Joy in man coverage. And the thing about this receiving core that we have this year, it's full of playmakers and speedsters. As the kickoff back deep, we missed the 2-point conversion, but we forced the fumble on special teams. And it's going to be scooped up. San Jose State has got the football back. Everything is completely flipped in our favor as it's 3rd down and 9. Screen is set up, and we got an open lane. Caruthers for the 1st down marker. He doesn't quite get it, but how about 4th and inches? Give it to Caruthers again. Touchdown. And what a play to seal the game. I love that call. 4th and inches. A field goal keeps it a 1-score game, and you want to go for the dagger. I love that call. Now Colorado's going to have to go down and get 2 scores in a minute and a half, and they're running low on time and timeouts because they just used their 2nd right there. A minute 10 to play, and that's going to be caught. 1st down, but it is just too little too late potentially. They'll throw end zone, and that's a touchdown. But the onside kick is what it comes down to, and we scoop it up. And we are potentially back as a 2-game win streak, and some nice performances have put us at 3-2 and a very huge win over a Colorado State team. You know, getting a win over a quality ranked opponent and a team that's kind of been our biggest rival, I feel like, in this dynasty mode. I mean, we've matched up against them in the conference championship. We have been the 2 best teams in the Mountain West, now moving over to the Pac-12. And, you know, Boise State's been in the mix. We haven't ran into Boise State that much, but, you know, us and Colorado State, we put on some good matches, and we have now gotten the upper hand on them this time around, and it will be 3-2 on the season. Now we are looking ahead to seeing if we could just put those 2 losses behind us and say, you know what, we could still compete for the conference championship. And if that is the case, you could see also as well, I'm looking at the top 25. Rutgers has climbed themselves back into it after a hole, and Bowling Green has too. Bowling Green is 5-0. And yeah, I think Bowling Green was just a really good team. Now we're taking on the previously mentioned Rutgers team who lost to Bowling Green. Lost, I believe, what was their first 2 games of the season. They've now won 5 in a row and climbed themselves from the point in which they started 9th in the season, lost their first 2, fell out the polls, and now they're 5 in a row at 11 in the polls. Meanwhile, us, we started, I believe, 18. And well, look where we are. Back at 18, Rutgers is going to get a field goal to take the lead here. It's 13-10 with just under 8 minutes minutes to play. Toppin's play action. He's going to throw it deep in the face of pressure. That was double coverage, and he got away with one there. 3rd down and 7 as they'll send an extra man, and it'll get in for a sack. The extra man got picked up by the running back, but we did not get the blocking on the edge. So now Rutgers with the football back. It's going to be 3rd down and 2. RPO, 1st down, and that will be in enemy territory of the 32-yard line. Got to hold them to a field goal here, but they'll take a shot deep down the field in double coverage. It was overshot. 3rd down and 7 as they'll throw. Intercepted! And that's going to be a big play where San Jose State takes it back with a chance to tie this game. 6 minutes to go. Toppins with the play action. He'll check it down underneath, and that's going to be a loss of 1. Probably shouldn't have done that. 3rd down and 11 instead. Toppins is going to run it, and he's going to get the 1st down. And Toppins, like I said, I think that's been his best attribute so far. He knows when to run sometimes, and that's going to be a big run for Caruthers. My goodness, he's such a little guy, but he fights so hard as he gets the 1st down. He's over 100 on the day. Toppins gets sacked, loss of 11, and sometimes he just doesn't know when to roll out in the right time, but he will deliver all those yards back. There you go, to the 14-yard line. Position to tie this game, but can we take the lead? Caruthers for the run is going to get 3. 3rd down and 7. Toppins has got man coverage, and he's going to get sacked. We'll take the field goal. 2 minutes to go, and this one is good. So no scare like it was last time against TCU. It's 13-13 as they'll throw one up top. That's a perfect throw over the shoulder, and the defender couldn't even make a play on the football. Minute and a half to go. That ball's going to be caught in just 2 plays. They're in field goal range, and San Jose State's using timeouts. And this could be another game-losing field goal for us, as it's going to be Rutgers' 3rd down. We get an injury timeout to go in our favor. 3rd down and 6. It's not going to matter, though. They get the 1st down. And now Rutgers running out the clock. We're praying for a miracle. They run it down. Time is ticking, but a short field goal try is going to be up, and from 24 yards out is good. And we lose our 3rd game of the season. Now, I can at least say our 3 losses on the season are all 1-score games against ranked opponents. So there's that, but Toppins had an atrocious game. I mean, are you kidding me? 8 of 24 passing. This is a quarterback who is running hot and cold. I mean, he'll have a game where he looks pretty solid, then he'll have a disaster game. Caruthers, meanwhile, anything but a disaster for him. How about 18 carries for 112? And, you know, this running back group was going to be a group that I just kind of rolled with the hot hand. And, you know, I was going to utilize Leo a little bit more, or we were going to have maybe Cyril Bland see some more carries, or whoever wanted to step up. But we haven't needed to do that. I mean, I would have thought, you know, we should have Caruthers on a little bit more of a limited snap count, or put him in a situational role. Despite his talent, he could be really good in that one situation, but I don't know if he could be the bell cow, the top guy, the guy who's getting 15 to 20 carries, but he's been that guy, and he's done it well. He's been effective. I mean, he's got a couple of 100-yard performances on the season, and he's been efficient. I mean, there's been the occasional game where it's like, you know, 2 yards a carry, a lot of carries, not a lot of production, but, you know, it's not always on the running back. And when we've watched him play, he's been running hard. He's a little powerful for his small stature, but, you know, recruiting, meanwhile, it's getting to that point where we were expecting. You know, things start well, but when you are a team that is not the level and caliber of some of these other schools, you start to get overtaken a little bit. And at the midway point of the season, 6 games in, we're kind of seeing that it's looking unlikely for a number of these players. And that's why, even though I put like 10 to 15 of these guys on the board to start the season, I'm like, if we can get like 4 or 5, I'd be really happy with that. So we're kind of seeing who we have a real chance at getting. And there's still some guys, like, I think we're at the point in time where schools like Stanford, we can compete with in recruiting. Schools like them, schools like Fresno, schools like them in the California area, like we can beat them out. I just don't know if we're at the point where we're beating out the USCs of the world, and we're beating out the Oregons, and maybe we could compete with Washington, maybe we can compete with Cal, UCLA, maybe, but, you know, Utah, Colorado, not so much. You know, some of these schools, you know, a little bit east of us, as I don't think we're going to be able to compete with those teams as much, but I think recruiting's going perfectly fine, and we'll see what some of these players end up deciding to go. But at that midway point in the season, like I said, 3-3, it's less than ideal, but at 3-3, we're still ranked. So like, it's a weird season, because we've, like, if you look on paper, 3-3 is not good, but we've had 3 quality losses, and I hate to say like quality losses, but like they're really credible losses. Now you look at some of the stats at the midway point in the regular season, and like I said, yeah, Carruthers 4.5 a carry, 400 yards on the ground. I mean, 71 yards a game on efficient yards per carry is really ideal, and I think he actually has a bit more of a future as a legit #1 out-and-out true running back, as I would have thought. I would have, pegged him to be one of those just third down guys, a role player for the team, but I guess he maybe is more than that. Now we go into the next game where we see an interception as we immediately hop in, and that is going to lead us to being in the spot to take a 3-score lead over Stanford, who is also 3-3 on the season. The thing about us as well is we haven't lost the conference game yet, as that's going to be an incomplete pass. We're going to set up that field goal try, but we haven't played much of our conference schedule yet. We're 1-3 in non-conference, but right now we're 2-0 and looking like we're about to be 3-0 as Brian Mangum gets the sack there. 2nd and 18 as he'll throw over the middle. That's going to be caught, and not quite a first down, but it'll set up 3rd down and 2 where they will convert. Takes a hit, hangs on. But the defense played a nice game so far, where they have not allowed very much in the passing game. There is going to be a big play, but I mean, Stanford's quarterback just hit 100 yards through the air, has more picks than touchdowns, and that's going to be a big run. The running back's going to get him to the 22-yard line, but right now we're not really worried at this point. Down by 17, they're getting sacked. Mangum's got his 3rd of the game. He's having a big day, and a bubble screen on 3rd and 12. They're going to get it, so I mean, less than ideal to allow all these 3rd down conversions, but we're making them take their time, and they finally get into the end zone, but there's just about 3 minutes to play, and they're down by 10. We're going to scoop up the onside kick. They still got all their timeouts, and if they hold us to a field goal, it's still a 2-score game. But we're going to hand it off to Carruthers, who is going to fight. And look at him fight! This guy is crazy! He is such a little player, but he has great contact balance and able to just shrug off defenders. Another 100-yard game from him. 4th and 1. He converts, and he's got 20 carries on the day. This game is over, but how about one more touchdown for good measure? That was so unnecessary, but it's a 38-21 victory. And I think we really got a star on our hands at running back. Carruthers is awesome, man. This is the toughest little guy I have ever seen. Toppins, he didn't even need to have a crazy efficient game, but I mean, how about 166 pounds shrugging off tacklers? That should not happen. That should not be possible. I don't know what he is doing. He has to be the most built 166 pounds ever, because he is at a smaller frame, 5'7", so you can maybe assume that a lot of that weight is pretty built and compact for his size. I mean, it's not like he's 5'10", 5'11", 160. It's not like he's built like Emmanuel Forbes, but he's a little bit smaller stature, but I guess he's a really built 165 or whatever. So that's impressive. I mean, when I got him on the team, he was a wide receiver who was just a route running archetype, who was kind of a subpar route runner. And I was like, you know what? You may not be a high-end route runner to be a true starting receiver for this team, but your route running could be good at running back, and you got some solid hands, and you have some abilities to be an after-the-catch guy, and if I put him at running back, he could be a ball carrier. So throwing him there, I'm like, okay, we have our Jabari Bates replacement. We have our 3rd down specialist, but I think we have a 3-down back in Carruthers, which I don't know what the percentile outcome of that was. It seems like a 5% outcome, but he's hit it. He's hit whatever the ceiling is. He's hit whatever his max is. He's hit whatever that is to be the best version of himself. So credit to him. We have a quarterback getting committed to our team. And how about that? You see that one right there. one of our first 2 commits, Damian Wooden, #1 player on our board, the top 50 player in the nation, one of the best safeties in the country is going to be here, and we could really use them potentially as they're going to get one over the top on our defense to the 25-yard line. Cal down by 3, and it looks like they're going to be taking the lead here. Touchdown! As it's 21-17. Cal is 5-2. This game absolutely has conference championship implications as Carruthers stiff arms a guy. It's 4th and inches, so we're going to punt it, but my goodness, he should not be stiff-arming somebody as a sack comes in there. Jazario Kalu off the nickel blitz gets him, and it's 2nd and 18. Handoff, and they're going to weave his way through for a big gain. Not quite the first down, but it sets up 3rd and manageable. Undoes the sack, but he throws it over the receiver's head, and we will get the football back on the 3-and-out as Toppins. That's a lot of time in the pocket. You got to do something with it, and he will find an open man as Toppins has had an atrocious game, but we have managed to somehow put ourselves in a spot where we can win this thing as Toppins over the middle. That's caught for the first down as the 15 yards to play. Toppins end zone touchdown, and I guess on the drive where it counted the most, he delivers as the run game gets blown up for Cal. They're down by 3 with 3.5 to go, and the 2nd and 13 screen is going to get him the 3rd down and 3 after the 10-yard gain. Under 3 to play. There's a flag down. It's incomplete, and it's not gonna matter. The flag would have set them back regardless, and it looks like they're gonna have to punt this football away. We will get the football back. A fake toss, throw it out to the tight end, and that's gonna be a 1st down. Another few plays like that, and we can end this one. 2nd down and 12. Handoff, stretch to the edge. There goes Carruthers. He's got a 6-yard gain. 3rd down and 6. Toppins, can he end it here? No, that ball swatted at the line. Great play by the Cal D-line, and they will get another chance added as that's a tight window grab there. That's a great throwing catch as now with 1:30 to go from the 38. He's got a short gain of 7. 3rd down and 3. 1:15 over the middle again. 1st down, and how about another 8 yards on the play? 60 seconds to go. Nearing field goal range. He's going to tuck and run it, and into field goal range he goes. That's a gain of 18. As now under a minute, he's going to throw a short check down for a gain of 3 as Cal on 3rd and 7, threatening to be out of field goal range. Were you running backwards like that? Are you kidding me? Cal's quarterback just sold them there, and now on 4th and 21, they can't kick a 58-yarder. I guess they're going for it, and he's throwing it deep. It's intercepted. Cal just threw away an opportunity to tie this game. That is brutal. If I was a Cal fan, you'd be ready to put a hole through a wall. How do you go from that spot where you are in a makeable field goal range, and then you take a sack so disastrous that you knock your team completely out of field goal range and force yourself to throw a deep one-on-one ball for the game? Now, I don't know how we won this game because Carruthers had a down game because Cal, I mean, we're at the point now where I think teams are like, yeah, well, this is the team's playmaker. This is the guy that you got to stop on their offense, so they're keyed in on him. And Toppins went in through 4 picks. I don't really know how we won that game with the statistics. If you looked at paper and you seen the statistics that we put up, you would say, well, no way we won. Well, we found a way. And right now, you can see what Ham, meanwhile, you know, we're looking at that 4-star gem quarterback to potentially be the future of this team. And we are in a 2-way battle for him, but we are going all out, obviously, to try to get him. Especially since it's not like Toppins has done a lot right now to make us really say, like, oh, yeah, that's a guy we're excited to throw out as our future quarterback. And you can say at this point in time, well, maybe bench him. I don't know if that's the move, because I mean, I would maybe be inclined to do that if we have Ham, for example, where he's committed, we have our quarterback for the next year, let's just go and get the guy with the highest floor to come in and be our guy. But we don't have a solution at quarterback next year still, and the best solution that we have is Trent Toppins. Whether that is an exciting option or not, that is our best option for quarterback next year, and I'm going to stick with him unless he gives me another couple of performances like that Cal game. But still, somehow, some way, we won that Cal game, and we're going to hope he doesn't do anything nearly as bad the rest of the season as we look at the conference standings. And we are at the top. We're the only team that's undefeated in the conference, as we have the win over Colorado State. We don't play Boise State in the regular season. We will play them in the conference championship potentially if everything kind of lines up and Boise State takes care of business against Colorado State. But for us to go 1-3 in the non-conference schedule and then undefeated in the conference schedule, it's really interesting. And I don't know if I can really bet on that happening. But there's 4 games left in the season, and right now, it's looking like it's going to be another victory. UNLV, we're up 26-7 on them. A 4th down try for UNLV. They're getting sacked, and Jaleel Bloom shot through the middle. And it really looks like, yeah, we're going to be on to 6-3 as is Caruthers with a nice run to the 11-yard line. 3rd down and 10 as Toppins is going to run for it, and he will not get far. 1 yard, but we will try the field goal. We got it to 29-7. And this is, I think, just in general, a really odd spot for this team to be in, because with us being at 15th in the nation, if we run the table to go 9-3, it's going to be one of those weird instances where we got 3 quality losses, but we could be a 9-3 playoff team. But that would also mean we'd have to win the conference championship. So, like, playoffs are actually possible for this team. And that is the craziest part with what you would have seen from the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the season. Playoffs are in this team's future if they can take care of business the rest of the way, as Toppins gets sacked, but still 29-13 with 3 minutes to go and an interception, diving in front of the football. I mean, that's just an incredible play by the defenses. I guess UNLV has a very small chance, but it's 4th and 5 pretty quickly, as the defense will force a 4 and out. 2 minutes to play, and we'll see Caruthers get a 1st down run, get this game over with, and we win it 29-13. And the team, I mean, they just outplayed them, like, all across the board. And Trent Toppins, it's 38% completion percentage and the interception, but it's weird. This dude is just... It's such a weird quarterback. I think you can definitely see that there's something there with him. There's some tools, there's some stuff, but like look at the receiving stat. Like, this is just, we are like an all or nothing passing attack. I mean, like, he has 10 completions, but it was for over 200 yards, and it's like, man, well, like, what are we doing here? Where like you can't do the easy stuff, but you'll get the big plays, and I can't tell how much of that is just on the receivers being that good this season and just creating that separation and making them, you know, be successful after the catch, or if it's just the fact that Toppins, he can throw a deep ball, but he can't throw anything else. I don't know. We'll have to see if that ends up getting better. You know, we're over halfway through the season, so I don't know how much in-season progression we have left for him. I would feel like 8-9 games in, you should be a little bit more comfortable, but it's a weird offense that we have put together, but somehow, some way it's working. But how about we get to the big news, and the week gets advanced. Keenan Ham has accepted his scholarship to San Jose State. And look at Toppins. I mean, oh, look at that. Look, a new quarterback wants to come in for next season. He wants to go and pull off a spin move like that. He wants to start playing well now. Okay, maybe this could be what we need also for this season. Maybe Toppins will be motivated to play a little bit better, as we have our quarterback of the future. And we can breathe a sigh of relief that potentially Trent Toppins doesn't have to be the quarterback of the long term for this team. But focusing in the game, look at receiver for UCLA jetting down the field. He's gonna get caught at the 2-yard line, but he got past everybody else. And UCLA gets stopped in the backfield. Can we get the goal line stand? No, not quite. It's gonna be a touchdown. And UCLA is leading this game, and we can't afford another loss. If we lose any games the rest of the way, we're not going to the playoffs, I don't think. So 3rd down and 2. Toppins, deep pass. That's caught. Bradley Joy breaks a tackle, and that's going to be a touchdown from 72 yards. Bradley Joy gets a huge game-leading touchdown, and now we are back on defense. 3rd down and 10. They're taking a shot over the middle. That's incomplete. Great defense there to get that. Get a hand on the football, look like, as it's going to be 2nd and 7 for us. Ricardo southward for the 1st down, and now handoff. Here he goes. That's going to be Caruthers for the 1st down to the 38. Now at the 34-yard line, it's going to be 2nd down. Check down underneath. Caruthers does not get anywhere with it. 3rd down and 8, as there's is going to be a completion into field goal range. It'll be 48 yards, and the kick is good. Okay, now we're up by 6. Still a one-score game, though. 3 minutes to play, and this UCLA offense is putting up big plays, and that's going to be a good one there. Now we jump to a 3rd down and 10, where he fires one over the middle. That's caught for the 1st down, and to midfield. It's been a great game for this team, but what in the world happened there? A bad snap? Are you kidding me? Bad snap, and look at Caruthers breaking through contact, and Caruthers all the way to the 5-yard line, and a turn of events that you couldn't have expected. Touchdown! What in the world just happened there as a fumbled snap is going to be UCLA's undoing, and then Caruthers takes the football and wills us to the end zone to essentially lock up this game, barring a miracle, as UCLA, I don't know what hit him. I mean, how lucky do we gotta be on that one? A bad snap is going to get us the win, potentially. 40 seconds to go as 1st down and goal. They get the touchdown, but they need the onside kick. Kick will be up in the air, scooped up, and San Jose State has just kept finding a way to win. They put up 30-plus points. They put up almost 500 yards, but we just survive. And Caruthers has his biggest game of the season, 168 yards. And how about 116 yards after contact? What is this dude made of? What is he? This dude is an anomaly of a running back. I don't understand him, but I am thankful to have him on this team. No disrespect to Storm Torrance, who was our running back last year, but I just don't know if we would be even at the spot we're in right now. Like, we're number 10 in the nation somehow, some way at 7-3, but there's a lot of 7-3 teams in this area. We got Syracuse ahead of us, Alabama, North Carolina, Georgia, Missouri. Like, there's a number of 7-3 teams. So again, we are in the mix, and if we win our last 2 games, we're on to a conference championship appearance. And it's looking like the winner of the Boise State-Colorado State game is going to be the team that would get that conference championship nod if we go ahead and win our last 2. There is a world in which we can lose a game and get in. It would have to be if, I believe, Boise State wins, since we have the tiebreaker over Colorado State and everything kind of situates itself like the way it does, then we'll have a tiebreaker. We should be heading to a conference championship barring a collapse, but if it's at 9-3, then it's going to be with a chance to go to the playoffs. And considering we're number 10 in the nation, we win our last 2 games, we win the conference championship, could be with a 1st round bye, which I just don't get. I still, maybe I'm sleeping on this, my own team here. I just don't feel like we're the 10th best team in the nation, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. We're here. We're here. And that's all that matters, because as long as you get to the tournament, you have a chance to go win it all. And we're looking maybe a little too far ahead. But how crazy would it be to go to the playoffs in a 2nd consecutive year, especially in a year in which this team is decisively, I think, just a worse team than it was last year, even if a lot of that does come from the quarterback position. But, I mean, we've had some struggles this year, and to go pop into a new conference and so far at least be undefeated in that conference, I don't know if we would have expected the season to unfold like this. But let's head into that 2nd to last game where we are taking on a 2-8 Arizona State team. So, you know, we've been facing a lot of like competent teams. You know, this conference is a very well-rounded conference, no powerhouses, but not a lot of bad teams. Well, Arizona State's been one of the only bad teams this year, and it's showing that on the scoreboard, where it is 31-9, but Arizona State has the football in the red zone, throwing for the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona State. And the 2-point conversion will be no good, so it will remain a 16-point game. 7 minutes to play as they throw it down the field, and that's a catch, and it's Caruthers lining up out wide. His wide receiver skills being put on display, as on 3rd down and 6, it's going to go to 4th and inches, where we will take the field goal. Don't mind that, because the field goal extends it to a 3-score game. But Caruthers, I mean, we just lined him up out wide and just had no issues as he went and beat a cornerback on the outside, or beat a linebacker, beat a safety. He's a matchup issue as Arizona State needing a lot to go their way. They're going to get a big scramble here as he will get to the 39-yard line. But with just 4 minutes to go, down by 3 scores. Well, make it 2. It's a touchdown for Arizona State as I feel like this defense does like kind of letting things go a little bit, slipping the final stages of the game, but it's up by 3 scores. We're going to be on to winning this game with another first down or 2 as 34-22 is your score, and it's looking like it'll be the final score with the first down here, and that is what we have. First down and a victory as we are 1 win away from a guaranteed spot in the conference championship with the chance to play a playoff game. Toppins actually has maybe his cleanest game of the season. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Griffiths didn't have a big game on the ground, but he made up for it by having 45 yards in the air as well. So cumulatively, roughly 90-yard game. And I mean, when Trent Toppins is going to go and play a clean 300-yard, 3 touchdown, no pick, 70% completion percentage game like that, then hey, we can deal with that. We can survive with that. We could also be at a point in which depending on how the top 10 continues to shake out these last 2 weeks, we could be at a point in which could we be comfortably enough in the top 10 to where if we lose the conference championship, we could still make the playoffs? Maybe. Don't want to, think about that because we just win and we're in, but I think playoffs very well might be in our future, which is crazy. Recruiting, we got a little bit of stuff to go over with the fact that, some of these 3 stars locking us out. Now that we're kind of at the point in which a lot of the 4 stars have said, yeah, either we're coming here and we're not going to be here. Maybe we're fighting uphill battles with them. We're kind of focusing a little bit more on some of these 3-star players and, trying to fill out the rest of our board as much as we can. I do like to keep the players, the key ones that we miss out on, just to kind of see what their developments are. And also the fact that we're not going to be able to bring in a full recruiting class. We're only graduating about a dozen players this year, so there's no point in trying to bring in 35 players and having to cut 20 people. So, we're looking to bring in 20 to 25 players and see if we can just go for quality over quantity. But, we brought in some extra players on the board, scouted them, kind of see if we can find some late season gems on the board. And I mean, it's been nice for us to not need to go out and just bring in a bunch of players. We were able to do that the first couple of years where we just brought in like 35 players, but we don't need to do that anymore as we have Jamar Freeman at wide receiver committing as we advance the week, and we see that we are still number 10 in the nation. You can see Colorado State and Boise State. They're number 5 and 6, and they play each other for I guess a spot to play us in the conference championship. So it's really interesting, but we have a game against Washington to try to wrap things up. If we lose this game, then again, conference championship and playoffs are not off the table, but they're very much not a likelihood. We are up by 11 in the snow as a draw play on 3rd down gets stopped. It's 7 minutes to play. They're going for it from their own 29, down by 2 scores. He's loaded up. He's getting hit as he's throwing. That ball's intercepted, and maybe it would have been smarter to just swat the ball away because it will hurt us in field position, but regardless, it's our football back, and we could be close to sealing this one. Caruthers in the outside, breaks the tackle, and gets swarmed by about 2 to 3 other defenders. 3rd down and 7. Toppins to throw. He's going to step up, and maybe it was a second too late to step up as he gets sacked. Punt is going to be sent the other way with about 5 minutes to go, and it is a beautiful punt down to the 2-yard line. And now Washington, if they want to go and make this a 1-score game, has to drive the length of the field. They get a first down to start their drive, but with 4.5 minutes to go, needing to go 86 yards for a touchdown, and they are already decent chunk of the way there. 30-yard line after a 16-yard gain. And now how about another first down gain of 11? 4 minutes on the dot to play as they throw it up the sidelines for a completion to the 35. And this Washington team moving it well as they'll throw underneath. That's going to be caught to the 29, gain of 6. 3.5 to go. They've done all this in just about a minute as they'll go to the outside, and they are nearing the red zone, 21-yard line. 2nd and 10, play action. He's going to throw underneath, and another play where the defense just allows them to catch it, but they're kind of content with, you know, just letting the clock run out, but you can't leave it open. Man, in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. 2-point conversion is going to be good. And Washington, with 2:40 to play, has a little bit of life if they could get a stop here, especially. 2-minute warning has hit. 2nd and 11. That's a loss of 1 again. Now 3rd down and 12. Caruthers is not going anywhere. It's going to just be 2 yards, and Washington has the football back. 1:40 to go, and a timeout to try to spoil the season of San Jose State as they throw to the outside. That's caught for a 1st down to the 47 as they are driving. Field goal will tie it, but they're going for it. Oh, he's got it. Touchdown, Washington. And the comeback has been made, and now Toppins has to have some pressure put on him. It's been very much not a lot of clutch, high leverage situation for Trent Toppins, but this is the biggest one he'll have, and he's delivering so far. 43-yard line, 60 seconds to play. 1 timeout. He's got one over the middle. It's Caruthers for a gain of 6. Back to the line, spiking the football. It's going to be 3rd down and 4. He's got him in, and on the run, he's going to stay in bounds, get it to the 8-yard line. 40 seconds to go, and they are going to let the time run down. They're taking their time. 18 seconds to go. Toppins, he got to snap the football. He finally does it. 15. He's looking. He's throwing back corner. Touchdown, Ricardo. Southward has got it, and they took their time, and it looks like for good reason. San Jose State is on top of 1 play to go. A Hail Mary for Washington for 82 yards of the victory. Flag is down, and this one is not over yet. Pass interference is going to give them another shot at it from the 33. They still need to go a long way, and he'll chuck it deep, and it's going to be incomplete, and San Jose State comes up huge. They almost let the game slip away, but they made the plays at the end to come out on top, and Trent Toppins, I got to say, I am impressed by that last drive. He played his best game in the biggest situation, 18 of 22, and he delivers the game-winning touchdown. I was a little worried. The time was running out. We got inside the 10 with 40 seconds to play, and they winded that thing all the way down to 15 before they snapped it, and they only had 1 timeout, so something went wrong. Like, that could have really come back to hurt them, but he delivered. Great throw in the back corner in the end zone, and we are going to a conference championship, and we are maintaining a top 10 ranking going into conference championship weekend. We really are just that team this year where I can't say we're the best. I can't say we're really anything other than, I guess, the resilient squad who finds a way to win. And some of the best teams manage to win games they maybe shouldn't, or pull things off and have a little bit of luck go their way, maybe with a little fumbled snap on one of those games. The special teams forced fumble against Colorado State to seal the game. I mean, we almost blew an 11-point lead in the final couple of minutes of the game, delivering a touchdown with under 10 seconds to go. We just keep finding a way. And we will get to see the results of that Colorado State-Boise State game. Will we be taking on Colorado State again in the conference championship, this time up to the Pac-12? Or will it be Boise State? As we see, it is Boise State. We are number 9 in the country. Boise State's number 4. I think there is a world, if we lose this game, we could be still in a playoff spot. If we win, we could get a first-round bye. Because of that, we have games with bowl games and conference championships where we get to the whole second half. And right now, it's been a little rough in the first half for the San Jose State squad as we are down 17-3. But with the football in our possession after a stop, a throw down the field is intercepted. And Boise State, already up by 14, has the football and will have it at about midfield. And Toppins can't be doing that as he is coming off some of, maybe his best football that he has played, and definitely in his last game, great football, but he's just now making a mistake here as Boise State driving to the 26-yard line as they will throw over the middle. That's caught, and that's going to be at the 10-yard line. 2nd down and 8 over the middle, and it's goal to go from the 2. Handoff. He's stopped in the backfield, and that's great push from the interior D-line. 2nd down and goal is a touchdown, and Boise State is up 24-3 with 4 minutes to play in the third quarter, and our offense has gotten nothing going so far, as Toppins will throw for a short gain. They'll punt it on 4th and 1. I know we're in our own territory, but I would have liked to see us maybe go for it, but that's going to be a break we needed. Scooped up, and we have the football at the 20-yard line, throwing over the middle. That's caught for the first down. Bradley Joy with it, as now from the 8-yard line, a chance to climb back into this one. Fourth quarter is about to be upon us. We'll hand it off. He's getting stopped, and at the 5-yard line, fourth quarter is underway. Third down and goal. Over the middle, that's caught. There's just no room to go anywhere. No gain. It's 4th down and goal from the 5. Toppins is throwing. It's gonna be broken up. And San Jose State gets to the goal line and goes nowhere. Boise with it, and a big run, 30 yards out the shadow of their own goal line. And now Boise is threatening to get stopped here. They will, but they really flipped the field position game. We still have a very faint chance in this one. 7.5 to go. Toppins, that's a lot of time in the pocket. Gotta find somebody open, and he does. That's a big play, and Oscar Ahmed's gonna be sprinting and past the 20-yard line, 50 yards, and now a quick ball caught. 2nd and inches, as we will have 6.5 to go. Handoff, Caruthers has the first down. We're back to goal to go, this time from the 2-yard line. Another try at it, as it's a play action. He's breaking out of a sack and somehow got the football away. Huge to get rid of that football. 2nd and goal, fullback handoff. He's gonna get to the 1-yard line. 3rd down and goal, play action, throwing to the tight end, but the running back was gonna have his way in. Now it's 4th and goal from the 1, as Toppins, he's gonna just try to bail and run, and he doesn't get it! And that is horrendous to watch. 8 plays from the 5 or closer, and no touchdowns in the last, 3 minutes. That's brutal. And now off the play action, the speedy receiver for Boise State getting running. He's being chased. He's finally getting caught, but it's inside the 20, now inside the 10, and a touchdown for Boise State. It's 31-3, and Toppins is throwing an interception to seal the game. And Boise State runs us off, and maybe our streak of good luck and good fortune just, I mean, they couldn't handle when you ran into a great team. Toppins, that was a bad game. No touchdowns, 2 picks, and just awful management of the game in these key situations where he just did not know how to play at the goal line. I mean, he did that one play where he got the ball out of his hands, but he made the wrong decision on the play action. He bailed and tried to scramble on 4th down. He threw into coverage. It was a bad game from him. Now we see where our bowl fates lie, as we do get a 4-star tackle, at least as a consolation prize. But at the number 9 spot, we go down, and we will be seeing that Boise State's quarterback, the guy who just diced us up, wins the Heisman Trophy. As for our postseason fate, we are not playoff bound. At number 10 in the country, we missed the playoffs. We'll be taking on Colorado in the Independence Bowl, as everything just shaked out the worst way possible for us, I guess. I mean, we only moved down 1 spot, but teams below us got in, teams below us won their conference, and we are gonna have to sit here, and that's a tough one to try to take in. You know, you feel like if you're one of the top 10 teams in the nation, you should be in a 12-team playoff, but you're not. And I can say, outside looking in, no bias, that I don't think we are the 10th best team in the nation. I don't think we're anywhere near that. So I could say I don't think we deserve to be a playoff team, especially with that performance against Boise State. I'm pretty sure that if we ran into another team on the level of Boise State, maybe the same thing could have or would have happened. But it still stinks to not get in. Let's just try to finish this season strong, as right now we're throwing an interception. Toppins, I mean, he fooled us a little bit at the end of the season, because when Ham got committed to this school, it was like, man, Toppins is really stepping up his play. He's playing some nice games, and right when we just say, you know what, we're in too deep, we're committed to him for this season, he wants to go and put up stinkers left and right. And I mean, the play against Boise State and right now against Colorado, it's not going well. It's 10-3. Luckily, our defense is playing great, but I mean, the offense is just getting brutalized right now. Caruthers can't go really anywhere, and you're forcing Toppins to pass, and he's just not doing it. 3rd down and 9 halfway through the 3rd quarter as he will throw. And that ball's knocked away. 4th down, punt it to Colorado, who is got it back, and they will load up, throw that ball down the field. That's caught! And to the 21-yard line as they are looking for the tie before this 3rd quarter ends, as that ball could have been picked off. It's swatted away. 3rd down and 10. He will throw it. He's going to step up into a sack, and it'll be a field goal try. And the kick is going to be off the upright. It's no good. We catch a break there, and it's our turn to try to do something as Toppins will run and will get a nice 16-yard gain. 3rd quarter is down to 2 minutes to play. Quick pass to the outside. Bradley Joy's got it, and he'll just get 3. Sets up 3rd down and 7 from midfield. He'll step up and throw. He's got a diving grab over the middle. Ricardo Southward has it, and an RPO caught, and he makes a miss. Bradley Joy, touchdown, and it's 17-3 as the offense finally picks up something. And the 3rd quarter ending on this play. They'll throw it up, and that's going to be caught. And the 3rd quarter ends with a big Colorado game. 4th quarter underway. Deep ball over the middle and splits the defense for the touchdown. We're back to a 1-score game as it's going to be up to this offense to try to hold them down and just keep the lead, keep the time ticking. As Caruthers, he's starting to get it going there. 1st down carry. How about a play action as Toppins is throwing back the other way. He's got a completed pass to the fullback. It's going to be a 7-yard gain as now play action again. 2nd and 3 underneath. There's Southward for the 1st down. I'd like to see a little bit more Caruthers get the ball, but they're just throwing it again, and that's going to be a sack this time around. 3rd and 14 as they are going to get sacked again. And Colorado's going to have a chance with 6 minutes to play in this one. And they're starting with the 1st down grab and a gain of 16 yards as they will go with the handoff. He gets by a lineman, and he is going to get to a 9-yard gain midfield as play action. That's a sack, and Zach Carter, the backup kind of rotational number 3 interior lineman, has his 3rd sack of the day. An impressive day from Zach Carter, having a career day. It's 4th and inches. Game on the line potentially as they get the stop up 4th and inches. And now we take over a great field position, and one slant route to Bradley Joy has us at field goal range with 2.5 to go. Outside, that's going to be caught. 4th down and 5, but we have the field goal to put this game away potentially. It is off the upright! And why can't we do anything right this time? As it's now Colorado with another chance with the door wide open. 2nd and 7, trying to tie this game up with a minute and a half to go. That's going to be caught to the 46-yard line. They're burning a timeout as they go over the middle. Intercepted, and the defense bails them out. And we have the football back. One more 1st down. Here's Leo. He's getting the 1st down. And even though it was not pretty in the slightest, we win our bowl game. It was not an offensive masterclass, we'll say that, but Toppins throws 2 more interceptions. Other than that, as a okay day, running the ball, Caruthers just, I mean, like I said, they kind of keyed in on him, once he kind of became the star player of this offense, but some of the other receivers put in solid contributions, 50 yards for 3 different guys. And on defense, like I said, Zach Carter, how about him? 3 sacks on the day, a lot of tackles were lost, but yeah, freshman D tackle getting into the action. So that puts a wrap on our season, where we get to take a look at the final stats and everything. And Trent Toppins ends the season with a less than stellar season total. He gets 3,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, and a 57% completion percentage, where he ran hot and cold. I mean, he had some good games. He had some abysmal performances. I mean, you start the season, 2 solid games against Bowling Green and Ohio, but then TCU game was horrendous. The Rutgers game was awful. The UNLV game, these games where he's completing 30, 36, 33, 38% of his passes. And then against the Boise State, I mean, when he was playing those types of teams, Rutgers, Boise State, TCU, when he was playing good teams, it just wasn't making good plays, wasn't having good performances, and then a game against Cal where he throws 4 interceptions. It's just brutal. But the bright spot, how about Juan Caruthers, who goes and runs for 1,000 yards? And, like I would say, last offseason and going into this season, it's like, man, I think we can really have like a lot of running backs get opportunities here, but we just didn't need to. I mean, Caruthers last year, 4.5 yards a carry on just 62 carries. And how about maintaining that level of efficiency, just, slightly less yards per carry, but on like quadruple the carries? Now, receiving, he didn't do as much. I think that's just down to Toppins, being this all or nothing quarterback where he just either got sacked, threw a pick, or threw a touchdown, or like had a big gain. I think that's just down to the style of quarterback that we had. But he had 11 carries in every single game. And there were, like 4 or 5 games where he had 20 carries, and he had some good performances. That UCLA game, Rutgers, he ran for 112 against Rutgers. He had, 5 different games in which he had a chunk carry, 20 plus yards. Ricardo Southward, I mean, this is really contributing to that all or nothing passing attack that we had. Southward averaged over 20 yards a catch. He was awesome this year, but I mean, we just couldn't find intermediate or short stuff. But Southward was incredible. 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, his 2 years as a starter for this team was great. And look at what he did. 2 games he got completely shut out. But look at this. You play 14 games on the season, and in 7 of those games, you have a 40-plus yard play. And in, 3, 4 of those games, you have like a 60-yard. And yeah, 4 of those games, I mean, basically 5, because one was a 59-yarder. You have that many explosive plays. That's incredible. And Bradley Joy finally got the opportunity to be a starter. He was kind of a splash play 4th or 5th receiver, finally got to start, and he goes and has big performances too. 3 games in which he had a 60-plus yarder. Like I said, it was just all explosives or all just garbage from this passing attack. There wasn't a lot of in between. Now we go to the defense, where we see some standout performances from some of our players. Brian Mangum, 14 sacks and a real breakout season. He broke out as kind of a talent, but also production-wise. This is a guy who had been a consistent contributor on this team, but not like a long-term, many snaps a game player. But you could see, it wasn't like he just racked up all of his sacks in like 3 games. Like, he had 1 3-sack game, but no other multi-sack games on the season. He had just a sack in just almost every performance he was in. Konatimu was a player who I was really hoping could have a bigger year. He did get a little banged up, still played 13 games, but I mean, he is a consistent force for this team, and he had 10 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. It was interesting, though. Timu missed the final game of the season. He got injured in the Boise State game. He missed the final game, and Zach Carter stepped in, and he racked up 3 sacks in that one game. That's really impressive, and that maybe gives us some excitement for the future with Zach Carter. How about interceptions? Our guy, Dwayne Fatanikun, had 9 on the season, and I mean, the first half of the year, it was a little rough. I mean, the Arizona game wasn't great, but second half of the season, he turned it on, and this dude had awesome ball production his entire career. And again, this wasn't a guy who just got a couple of big games. Like, he had a 2-pick game, but I mean, how about getting an interception in 8 separate games this season and having some really good performances? And Stanford game in which he got 2, he had one against Rutgers, he had one against some of these other teams. Really great ball production throughout his entire career, and he was one of those rare athletes that we were able to get, and he developed into an awesome player. Rico Childers and Jazario Kalu also have pretty solid ball production, getting 8 deflections, 9 deflections, 10 deflections, a couple of fumbles went our way. And Brian Mangum got a block as well, got 2 blocks as a team, no safeties, and just a single defensive touchdown. So we had some real star players on this defense. Brian Mangum, I think, when Konatimu plays, I know the sack numbers aren't crazy, but he's really good. Jaleel Bloom was really good. Fatanikun was really good. So we have high-end caliber guys that should be NFL players, and it's guys who also leave a little bit of an impression on this school's history, as we have an all-time leader in career interceptions, 17 after that 9-pick season. And you can also see Dylan Hampston's there with the sack numbers. Brett Scaccia has basically rewritten the record book for his time here, and he only tied the interception record, though 9 was the record. Dwight Lowry, who was, in the NFL for a little bit, was also a guy who had 9 interceptions in a season. Overall, this was a slight step down. I mean, back-to-back 12-2 seasons and a playoff appearance, but 10-4, stepping up to a new conference with a tougher schedule and not having our superstar quarterback. I don't think I'm angry at the results of this season. It's just, it came in a very unorthodox way. If you would have said that we would have had the season that we had, we go 1-3 non-conference, then we go undefeated in the conference, get smacked in the conference championship, be the number 10 seed but miss the playoffs, and then scrape by in our bowl game, and our quarterback situation is brutal. Like, it was a weird season. I don't know, like, I feel like if you would have just showed me 10-4 in the season, I wouldn't have been like mad at that. I would have just been like, okay, 10 wins, that's about what I would have hoped for, but it was just the way it went down. It was just a very odd season. And I think we're ready for the offseason, where also you could see there that Juan Caruthers did make a all-NCAA team. So very happy with that. Very well deserved. North Carolina wins the national championship. Boise State did get knocked out in their first game. But we're on to players leaving. I spoke about it before. We only have about a dozen-ish players leaving, and one of them will be Nicholas Glennon, who, was kind of in the mix for the starting quarterback job, was a bit of a higher floor player. As we have discussed, just to remind you each and every single year, any player that declares or that transfers, we will not be convincing. If they want to leave, they will leave. That's part of what makes this a little bit more difficult. Luckily for us, only one player wants to leave, and it's a guy who probably wasn't ever going to see the field, so maybe we'll run into him down the line. Maybe Nicholas Glennon will be a guy we play down the line. Maybe if he's a starting quarterback next year, we'll see if we could schedule him. But we have 3 players headed to the NFL. We get to see that Jaleel Bloom and Dwayne Fatekun were 4th-round picks. Brian Mangum, for his 1-year breakout, got a 5th-round pick. I do think that makes sense. I think Fatekun could have been a day 2 guy. I think he was talented enough. But Bloom in the 4th round, Mangum, I think could have been like a 4th-round player. I mean, I understand 1-year breakout. So we go to recruiting, where it's pretty straightforward with a lot of what we're looking at, because, like I said, we didn't lose that many players, so there's not a need to bring a lot of players in, and we are going to kind of, throw off those 3 stars that committed elsewhere, throw off the players that we are locked from, and see what the transfer portal has to offer us. I still, like I said, want to bring in 20 to 25 guys, just so we have some flexibility, we have some options, and I'm fine cutting a couple of players if needed. We look at what is the interest levels from the transfer portal. We have 2 solid players interested in us from Stanford and Iowa State. D-tackle, tight end, both 4-star. Elsewhere, basically nothing else. It is kind of just these 2 players are the only ones that are really on our radar. Everyone else is either we're already locked out or just like a 2-star guy that we're not overly interested in. I'm not going to go jump through hoops for 2-star guys in the transfer portal at this point in time. But if we can go and get ourselves a solid blocking tight end, a number 2 guy, cool. If so, if not, it's not the end of the world. More interested in the D-tackle just because I like having a deep rotation of guys. I mean, you literally seen the results of having that when Zach Carter had to step in, and he has a big performance, and I'd like to have more rotation, more depth on that defensive line. So we're going to be going after these guys, even if Daly's just a 1-year player for us potentially. So I don't really anticipate the recruiting being the most exciting because of the lack of transfer portal interest that we have generated, but I also understand it in the sense that we have our team pretty set how we like it and set how we want it. We have a pretty vast and in some areas a pretty deep roster. Like, I do think we have good depth on the offensive line. I think we have kind of started to really get prioritizing the defensive line depth, so I think the trenches is where we're pretty good. Quarterback now, I think I'm at a point where I'm pretty happy with if Ham is as good as I hope he is going to be. Running back, great depth. I mean, Cyril Bland is a player who could be a starter on a number of really quality college teams, and he's, unfortunately for him, probably not going to see much action since he's just like too similar of a type of player as Caruthers. And, if we want maybe a different role, I would probably just go to Leo for like the power, and he is very efficient when he gets his opportunities. Receiver, I'd still like to get another receiver, get another staple number 3 guy to maybe develop into that number 1. I think the future of this team, wide receiver wise, is looking a little rough. I'm hoping I get somebody good in that regard. And then same with cornerback, with Fedekun going and heading to the NFL. We've had a lot of rough luck when it comes to cornerback outside of him. Even though Jazario Kalu's a pretty nice player, he was a normal development. And like all of our corners, except for like 2 right now, are normal developments. And the only other 2 are like impacts who are just fine. We don't have a lot of upside at the cornerback position for us right now. So I'd hope that any cornerback that we can get can be nice. But I am just going to be slapping all the 50, 60 hours that I can on all these guys, and it's going to be a pretty straightforward recruiting section of this video. I think, you know, the past couple of years I've set it up pretty nicely to where recruiting isn't this stressful off-season task, and, you know, maybe we want a little bit more stress being put on us with the transfer portal and getting some more opportunities at those guys. But when it comes to just the straight up prospects, we kind of know what we're expecting at this point in time. At this point, I'm just really excited to see what Keenan Ham looks like and if he's going to be this team's day 1 starting quarterback, because as much as Toppins was a little rough, if Toppins, you know, really hits progression and really develops well, then it's hard for us to not start him, especially if Keenan Ham isn't day 1 ready. We sim the first week, we get a running back. I'm just continuing to stockpile running backs because it's never a bad thing to have too many running backs, never a bad thing to have too many defensive linemen. These 2 transfer portal players after the first week, it's looking unlikely. The tight end's probably not going to happen. The D tackle has a slight chance of happening, but with how fast these move, I don't think I'm betting on that one, but a lot of these other players are looking pretty good. We're also in the market for, you know, a fullback. We're kind of trying to top out all these other positions that kind of just need spots that just are filled every couple of years. Spots like fullback. I want to get a kicker, you know, maybe a punter or something like that. Positions that you don't have to worry about that often, but just nice to get them out the way when you get the chance to, because of the fact that also our kicker was pretty brutal this year. I know he was 21 of 26, but the misses, it wasn't just that he missed 5 kicks, it's just the misses that he did have were brutal. I mean, you flash all the way back, I guess, to that TCU game. He hits that kick, we go to overtime against TCU and say we win that game. We make the playoffs. Like, we would have made the playoffs if we won that TCU game. I think that's actually non-negotiable at this point, because we wouldn't have been the number 10 ranked team if we had that win over TCU, and I think we would have been like the number 9, 8, maybe 7 team in the country. So yeah, looking at kickers now is kind of the option here for us, is I think we can get a good one, as I'm not really looking for a guy who just doesn't have a leg. You know, I obviously want the accuracy, but I want a guy who can boot that football from 50 plus. And how about a guy with 92 power? I know maybe kicker isn't the most exciting thing, but we need it. And we have a gem kicker here, so we're going to be keeping both those guys on the board. We're going to be just trying to heavy go after them. And if we got both of them, hey, maybe one can play punter. But like I said, not the most exciting stuff for recruiting, as we're just trying to fill out these extra positions and see if we can end up with all the players that we have on our board currently. As we advance the week, we snag ourselves a couple of players: tight end, wide receiver. Advance the week again, we end up with a couple of linebackers, we end up with a defensive end, get a kicker. We did get one of the kickers and an extra running back. So that is all of recruiting. We didn't get the gem kicker, but we did get a kicker, so that's pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that. Recruiting overall, we ended up with, I said 20 to 25. We ended up with 22 and 4 4-stars, which I am happy with. 29th in the nation. So a recruiting class that I am pretty satisfied with. We get to take a look at the developments of these players. We had no transfer portal commits, as the other 2 guys didn't come to our school, but we'll see who is going to be a great player for us. And how about a star defensive end? That is going to be nice to develop as a 3-star. And he is going to be joined as a potential future superstar of this team by, not the kicker who was a star development, that's unfortunate, but how about a star linebacker with 90 speed? That's going to be exciting. We get to the 4 stars now, elite outside linebacker, and here's Keenan Ham. He is elite development, and how have we done it again? Our QB luck is absurd. as Camilla tackles and impact. Some of these other guys that we missed out on, we're getting a look at them. Not a lot that I'm mad about, but LaMarcus Bridge, that's unfortunate. He's a normal. And then our other guy, Damian Wooden, is an impact. But, oh boy, Keenan Ham. Let's take a look at what we have here. So this is, we're moving into the players developing. This is player progression and everything. There wasn't a lot to really talk about when it came to cutting players. We didn't have to cut many guys. And then also when it came to position changes, nothing out of the ordinary. Toppins didn't get a lot better, but Keenan Ham, I think this is our day one starting quarterback. I don't think that we need to really debate this. I know he's a little bit worse than Toppins, but I mean, look at what he provides us. I don't know how I've gotten this lucky in this dynasty with getting 2 quarterbacks that are both elite. And not only are they elite, they're like some of the best that you will find. I mean, how about maxed out everything except 8 out of 10 IQ? He's gonna be nuts. Like, this dude is gonna be like a 90 plus overall easy. And he's going to lead us into the future. And I am going to just not even hesitate. That's our starter right there. And I talked about Cyril Bland, how it's kind of unfortunate how he's like a really good player and he's probably not going to see that much time, but I'll try to see if I can mix him in a little bit. But Caruthers is just so good, and he got even better. How about a 90 overall? Well deserved. He hasn't gained any weight, but he's gained a lot of skill and talent here, as he's going to be a junior. We'll see if he declares to go to the NFL after this season. But, I mean, he's shifty, he can catch, he is smart. He's still not the quickest guy, but he's really good. Bradley Joy is going to be this team's #1 receiver after Ricardo Southward is gone following his 2 1,000-yard seasons. Joy is going to be the big play option on this team. He's a fully maxed out finished product at this point in time. And the rest of the receiving core, it's kind of just up to whoever to emerge. Oscar Ahmed is going to be likely the #2. He is a fine player, maybe more so ideal 3, not a #2, but that kind of spot is wide open for anybody to take. LaMarcus Bridge is the best player day 1, who is our 4-star receiver. The issue is he's a normal, which is rough. He's a 6'1", undersized, basically for a physical player. I don't love the skill set in development, so we'll see what he ends up doing. And then when it comes to realistic options for the rest of this receiving core, Amani Devalve is a star dev player who can get to 9 out of 10 route running. I think he could be a player for us, but a little slow. And then the other player is Conrad Wooten, who is also a star development player, 6'4", physical threat. I think this might be a guy we want to see a little bit more of this season as well. He seems like he has the best overall profile to be a starting outside receiver for us. At tight end, we have a new emerging player. How about Demarius Humphrey, who has overtaken Dakota Stevens in terms of talent, and he is a more exciting threat as a receiving tight end for us. I think we'll likely see both of these guys get playing time, especially with the fact that we just need other receiving threats. But Dakota Stevens was one of those unspectacular, high floor, low ceiling, just fine possession tight end. I can't say the lack of a true like #1 receiving threat does hurt a little bit, but the offensive line's looking pretty nice. 85 at left tackle. And how about a left guard? Matua Puka? Is that his name? Is that how you... Matua Puka. That's what I'm going with. He's a 92. I'm going to have to learn his name. If any Matua Puka members of the family want to tell me how to pronounce the name, let me know. I think I got it right, but, you know, I'm not perfect with it. Braden Maffei is also looking pretty good. He was an 89 last year. Didn't get a whole lot better. Still an 89, but still really good. And speaking of 89 overall, how about a right tackle? Devon Kennedy is going to be also an 89. So this is a really good offensive line. And I'm excited for the run game, especially with Ham, because if you took a peek at Ham, he is a blazing speed quarterback. I think this is going to be a year in which we probably make big changes to the playbook, where we add a lot more shotgun, a lot more QB run stuff, and, you know, you still have a pro style offense, still have a translatable NFL offense, but, you know, add some more diverse stuff to it to allow our quarterback to run the football a little bit more. Our defensive line, meanwhile, looking pretty solid. I am happy with our ability to go and really recoup a lot of recruits on the defensive line. And at D-tackle, I mean, Konatimu, this is a guy who I've kind of hyped up for a couple of years of just being this unsung hero on this team, and I think he should be NFL bound. I'm really excited to see what he can do in his final season. And we also have a couple of other players. Zach Carter got a little bit better, and some of the other depth on the line. We're going to be without Brian Mangum and Jaleel Bloom, so the linebacking core is going to be hurt a little bit, but Rico Childers is going to be here, along with Lane Kopp, who is a very high floor player. He's going to be a very safe guy. I mean, he jumped up that quickly to an 80 overall. He'll probably peak as like an 83 maybe, but a nice high floor safe option for us. At cornerback, it's pretty wide open. Jazario Kalu's been our nickel guy, but he's going to be asked to step to the outside this year. It's a little concerning. The rest of the cornerback room is pretty wide open. As I said, we've had a rough go. I mean, the next like 4 guys are all normal developments and very low ceiling players, and some of them junior, senior. The only cornerback that we have that has like any sort of a long-term future, we'll get to him, but like this is kind of what we have to work with. It's a lot of man coverage skill set. That's kind of what we prioritize. So there's not a lot of upside here. The only one we have is this guy right here, who does have some pretty good upside, admittedly. I think I want to see him get some playtime this year and see if he can develop him a little bit, especially since he is a redshirt freshman, and that's going to lead to our safety room that is going to be a lot more important this year. A guy like Wooden should play year 1. Now, he's not better than Teron Suzley, so he's not going to play free safety or strong safety, but the plan for Wooden, I think he can play nickel corner for us. Look at his coverage. He's got better man than he does zone. 78 man to 70 zone. He obviously, being a safety, could tackle a little bit, has good athleticism. I think you're looking at our nickel cornerback this year. And with Kalu stepping to the outside, I think it makes sense to have the nickel slot filled by Wooden and then just try to figure out the other outside corner spot, because our next best nickel corner, Brian Orr, is just okay, but he's 84 speed. He's so just not the athlete that we need. So I think Wooden actually fits as our nickel corner this year, and then Matthew Hurt will be the safety in the strong side of things. So that is the roster. That is the team. And as we head into year 7, let me know what you think of how this team did this year, what you thought of this recruiting class, what you think of the team and their expectations next year. Can we make the playoffs next year? Is Keenan Ham going to be the savior of this team in the post-Scaccia era? And I think the MVP and the guy I loved in this video was Juan Caruthers. He was an absolute joy to watch, and I hope you all enjoyed and are excited for what is to come. Like, comment, and subscribe, as all that stuff is super helpful. And I will see you guys all in the next one.